You keep moving every single day, but somehow your life feels stuck in the same place. Like you're running but not actually getting anywhere. You wake up tired, drag yourself to work, try to handle your money like a responsible adult, and still end up with the same bank balance at the end of the year. It feels messed up, and naturally you start thinking your whole plan is broken and needs to be fixed ASAP. So what do you do next, right? Because nobody wants to stay stuck like that. You switch jobs because it feels like the current one is going nowhere. You pull money out of your small savings to try some random side hustle you saw online, and you ditch your budget the moment life hits you with one stressful week. In your head, you think you're finally taking control. Like, yeah, this is it. I'm changing things now. But in reality, you're just hitting reset over and over again. Every time you panic and change direction, there's a hidden cost that nobody talks about. It's not visible like a bill or a fee, but it slowly eats your progress like a leak you don't notice until it's too late. I call it the friction of constant resetting. And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons people stay broke without realizing why. The system kind of tricks you into thinking that if things aren't working, you just need to hustle harder. You're told to pivot, adapt, chase opportunities, and always be doing something new, like sitting still is failure. But this non-stop switching isn't progress. It's chaos dressed up as productivity. Most people out here grinding aren't lazy at all, and that's the sad part. They've got ambition, they're putting in hours, and they genuinely want a better life. The problem is they react too much, confusing urgency with actual forward movement. It's like running on a treadmill thinking you're covering miles, but you're literally in the same spot. You burn energy, you sweat, you feel busy, but nothing changes in real life. That's exactly what constant reacting does to your finances and your career. Today we're breaking down something most people never realize. That desperate need to fix everything right now is actually what's keeping you stuck at zero. And yeah, it sounds backwards, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Real financial growth isn't built on frantic daily action like social media makes it seem. It's built on making a solid decision and then having the patience to not mess with it every 5 minutes. And honestly, that part is way harder than working harder. We live in a time where everything is in your face 24/7. You can check your bank balance from your bed, see your debt while sitting in traffic, and track investments while waiting for your coffee. That constant visibility messes with your head more than you think. Because you see numbers changing all the time, your brain feels like you have to do something about it constantly. Even normal fluctuations start to feel like problems that need fixing right now. That's how you fall into the trap of touching things way too often. When money is tight, anxiety pretends to be productivity. You open your banking app 10 times a day thinking you're being responsible, but you're really just stressing yourself out. Monitoring your money isn't the same as managing it, but it feels like it in the moment. You pay rent, see your balance drop, and suddenly it feels like everything is falling apart. Panic kicks in and you start thinking you need to restructure your entire life immediately. But that reaction usually leads to worse decisions, not better ones. Let's say you manage to save a small emergency fund, maybe like $1,000. That should feel like progress, but the moment something small hits, like a car repair or a dentist bill, it feels like a disaster. Instead of trusting the system you built, you panic and start tearing it down. You tell yourself saving is useless because something always comes up anyway. So you spend the rest or stop trying altogether, thinking what's the point? That mindset keeps you stuck in the same cycle, even though you were actually doing something right. This same pattern shows up in your career too, not just money. You start learning a new skill, maybe coding, editing, or something trending, and at first it feels exciting. You're motivated, you're learning fast, and it feels like something big is about to happen. Then comes the boring phase where progress slows down. You're still putting in hours, but you're not seeing immediate results or more money yet. And that's where most people quit, without even realizing it. Instead of pushing through that plateau, you start doubting everything. You think maybe this isn't the right path, maybe I should try something else. So you jump again, chasing a new opportunity, hoping this one will be faster. Every time you do that, you lose all the progress you built. The knowledge, the experience, the momentum, it all resets back to zero. And you end up running in circles, always starting fresh but never finishing anything. This constant need to feel in control leads to some of the most expensive mistakes. Decisions stop being logical and start being emotional. And emotional timing is almost always bad timing when it comes to money. Think about it. You're working long hours, dealing with stress, traffic, bills, and everything else life throws at you. Your brain gets exhausted and starts craving some kind of reward. That's when things get dangerous. Imagine it's a random Thursday evening. You've been trying to save money, bringing lunch from home, being disciplined for weeks. But today was trash. Your boss annoyed you. Everything felt off, and you're just done. On the way home, that feeling of sacrifice suddenly feels unbearable. You don't just grab a small treat, you go all in. You might finance an expensive phone or make a big purchase you don't actually need. You're not doing it because it makes sense financially. You're doing it because you want to feel better right now. It's like buying temporary happiness at the cost of your future. The same thing happens with quitting plans too. You could be months into paying off debt, making steady progress. Then one problem hits and suddenly it feels like all your effort is pointless. You think, why am I even trying this hard if I'm still struggling? So you stop, go back to old habits, and undo months of progress in a moment. That's the emotional reset that costs people years. The truth is, the modern system benefits from this behavior. Every impulsive decision, every panic move, someone else is making money off it. Banks, companies, they profit from your impatience. They want you to roll over loans, make impulsive purchases, and keep switching strategies. Because every time you do, they get paid. Meanwhile, the people who stay calm and patient quietly win over time. When you finally make a good financial decision, it doesn't feel exciting. There's no fireworks, no instant glow-up, nothing dramatic. It's actually boring as hell. And that's the part nobody tells you. For a long time, it feels like nothing is happening. Your debt goes down slowly, your savings grow slowly, and your lifestyle doesn't change much. Sometimes it even feels worse because you're restricting yourself. This phase is where most people mess up everything. It's called the middle phase, and it's painfully slow. And yeah, your brain hates it. We're wired to want excitement, quick wins, and visible progress. Social media makes it worse by showing instant success stories all the time. So when your life feels slow, your brain assumes something is wrong. You start thinking your plan isn't working just because it's not exciting. That's when you interrupt it, looking for something faster. But that interruption is exactly what kills your progress. You stop paying extra on debt to treat yourself. You pull money out of safe investments to chase something risky. You switch jobs for a tiny raise that resets your growth. All of it feels like action, but it's actually self-sabotage. You break a working system just to feel movement, and that feeling costs you more than you realize. The people who actually build wealth understand something different. They know the boring phase is where the real magic happens. Not at the start, not at the end, but in the waiting. It's like planting a seed and letting it grow. If you keep digging it up to check progress, you kill it. Money, skills, and success work the same way. If you don't give things time to mature, you guarantee failure. You'll always be starting over, always climbing the same hill again. And that's exhausting. Patience isn't what people think it is. It's not sitting around doing nothing. It's actually one of the hardest things you can practice. It's choosing not to react when everything in you wants to. It's walking away from temptation when you're stressed and tired. It's holding your ground when everyone else is moving fast. This is just the beginning of understanding how this works. Once you see how much damage constant reacting causes, you start noticing it everywhere. And that's when things can finally start changing. This is where most people think they understand patience, but they actually don't get it at all. Patience isn't passive. It's not just sitting there hoping life magically fixes itself. It's an active fight, like you're constantly battling your own impulses and emotions every single day. Active patience means not opening your wallet when you're stressed, even when it feels like you deserve something. It's walking through a store, feeling that urge to buy something just to feel better, and still leaving empty-handed. That doesn't feel powerful in the moment, it feels annoying, but that's exactly why it works. It also shows up when you finally save some money and feel like you've earned an upgrade. You see that balance and your brain goes, yo, we deserve something nice now. But instead of spending it, you hold back, even though every part of you wants to celebrate. Social pressure makes this even harder than it already is. You see your friends, co-workers, people online all flexing new cars, vacations, and upgrades. It makes you feel like you're falling behind, even if you know deep down most of it is financed and fake. Active patience is choosing not to play that game. It's driving your old car while someone next to you pulls up in something shiny they can't really afford. That small feeling of embarrassment? Yeah, that's the price you pay for future freedom. The truth is, Building stability doesn't require genius-level intelligence. It doesn't need a crazy high salary or some secret investment trick. It mostly comes down to emotional control, which is way harder than it sounds. Because when life hits you with unexpected bills or stress, your first reaction is panic. Your brain wants the fastest way out, not the smartest way out. And that's where most bad financial decisions are made. Active patience creates a gap between what happens and how you respond. Instead of reacting instantly, you slow things down and think. You look at options, maybe negotiate, maybe plan, instead of just throwing money at the problem. But here's the real issue. You can't rely on willpower alone. When you're tired, stressed, and mentally drained, your discipline drops to zero. In those moments, your brain will always choose the easiest and fastest option. So instead of trusting yourself to always make the right choice, you build systems. You create barriers that protect you from your own bad moods and impulsive decisions. Because systems don't get tired, but you do. That's where things start to shift from just mindset to actual strategy. You stop depending on motivation and start depending on structure. And that's what keeps you consistent when life gets messy. Now this is where everything comes together. Because mindset alone isn't enough when real life hits you hard. When you're exhausted, stressed, or just mentally done, you're not thinking long-term anymore. That's why you need systems that protect you when you're at your weakest. Start by creating distance between your emotions and your decisions. If you feel the urge to quit your job, buy something expensive, or flip your whole plan overnight, don't act instantly. Give it time, because most bad decisions lose their power when the emotion fades. A simple delay can literally save you months or even years of damage. That's why rules like waiting 24 or 72 hours before big decisions actually work. It's not about stopping yourself. It's about slowing yourself down. Next, automate the important stuff so you don't have to rely on discipline every day. Move money to savings or debt payments the moment you get paid, before you even touch it. When it happens in the background, you remove the chance to negotiate with yourself. Also, stop checking your finances all the time like it's social media. Constant checking creates stress and makes normal ups and downs feel like emergencies. Give yourself fixed times to review, and outside of that, leave it alone. Make spending a little harder and progress a little more boring. Remove saved cards, avoid one-click payments, and add small friction so impulse decisions don't happen instantly. That tiny delay gives your brain enough time to wake up and say, "Nah, this ain't worth it." At the end of the day, the goal isn't to live a restricted life. It's to protect your future from your temporary emotions. Because one bad mood shouldn't have the power to mess up years of effort. The real game isn't about doing more, it's about reacting less. It's about staying steady while everything around you tries to pull you off track. And honestly, that's rare. Most people will keep chasing quick wins, jumping from one thing to another. But the ones who actually win are the ones who can sit through the boring, uncomfortable middle without breaking their own system. That's where the real money is made. So yeah, big money isn't built in hype moments or fast moves. It's built in silence, in discipline, and in those quiet decisions nobody sees. And if you can master that, you're already ahead of most people without even realizing it.